Hello, everybody. My name is Peter, and we're making great progress with this sketchbook. We're on page 4 out of 133. At least I think there's 133 pages. I counted them myself, and I might have lost count at some point because I feel like when I'm counting to large numbers, sometimes I don't know if this is normal, but I might be saying like 56, 57, 58, and I might just skip a number or say a number twice or something. It's hard to concentrate on something so mundane as consecutive numbers for so long as like counting past 100. But it also feels like I feel a little bit stupid if I mess something so simple up, because that's something like you ask a little kid, or a little kid might consider it a significant milestone if they're like, hey, I can count to 100. And here I am wondering if I even did it correctly. Anyways, I think there's about 133 pages in this sketchbook. And here's page 4. If you want to look at me drawing the first 3 pages, I think there is a playlist. You can find it on my profile, or it might be off to the side here. Hope all of you are doing well. It's like I said, I mentioned this earlier, it's been getting a little cooler here, so I finally have started drinking warm coffee again, because for a while now I've just been buying these bottles of cold brew coffee, which are really, really good, and just been slurping those down out of pint glasses. But I recently bought a new coffee maker, because my old coffee maker, I left some coffee in the bottom of the carafe, the coffee pot. I don't know why they're called carafes, but it stayed there for a long, long time and was growing its own ecosystem in there. There was like 3, 4, 5 different types of crazy mold in the bottom of that coffee pot. So I didn't know what was growing in the rest of the whole coffee maker. It seemed a little bit wasteful to throw it away, but also a little bit dangerous and reckless to try to make coffee with it still, considering all the strange things that were growing in it. Bottom line, it was probably irresponsible to not clean it and let stuff grow in it. Anyways, I got a new coffee maker, and I made the first batch of hot coffee that I've made in my house in a while. I've been sipping on that today, and it was good. Nice, hot, black coffee out of my black Daft Punk mug, and things are good. Also, a little update on the book. I made a little video presenting my the Incomprehending, my big 500-page book, and a lot of you have been great. I've sold, I think, looking at my little updated thing, it says I've sold 273 copies so far. So thank you. Appreciate that. Really amazing. And a lot of you asked if there's a way to buy signed copies off of my store, peterdraws.com/shop. And at first, I wasn't quite sure of a good way to do this, but I think I figured it out. I found some like nice boxes that I can ship them out in. So if you want to go look on peterdraws.com/shop, you can get a signed copy now, and I'll even do a little doodle in there for you. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more expensive this way, and I feel bad also for the people who might have wanted to do that, but already bought a book off Amazon. So I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Okay. I should have, look, I'm not the most organized person in the world. I should have thought this through more ahead of time. So I don't know. Right now, the price from Amazon in the United States is about $40. Sometimes it's less with Amazon Prime, like $37 or something to get a signed copy with a doodle in it. I think I'm going to put that price at like $65. Look, I don't know if that's reasonable. I can tweak the price later. It might go up if it turns out like shipping is really expensive, or down if it's really cheap and the shipping and it's really, I don't know. Okay. I'm not good at pricing art. Not that it's a little bit art, a little bit, I don't know. I'm open to feedback and seeing how it goes. You can go buy a signed copy and I'll send it out to you. U.S. customers only, though, because I can't imagine international orders the shipping on those have been crazy lately. I can't imagine how much shipping a 5-pound book would be. So I'm sorry, but U.S. orders on those only. Anyways, didn't mean to talk about that for so long. Go check that out if you're interested, and I appreciate all the support already. And on a different note, can I ask you about this phrase, state of the art? You've heard this phrase, right? State of the art. And I've heard it too. I know what it means just by context clues. It seems like it's used whenever people are talking about something that is at its peak. It's like the finest, most refined, often high-tech version of something. Like you could have a cheap consumer level version of something, but if you have the most expensive, most something with all the bells and whistles that works the best, they call it state of the art. And it's a weird phrase to me because it almost always has nothing to do with art. Obviously this phrase, it's not the fault of the people who use the phrase, but I'm just curious. I'm going to look it up in a second, but I'm just curious about where this came from. I mean, art often does have a lot to do with refining things, like fine art. The famous artists often, were associated with making the best paintings, and maybe it came from that. Like this, they looked at like the best, most famous, Renaissance or something. I'm trying to imagine the first time it was used, and maybe it was about art, but I'm not sure, because in my mind, if I think state of the art, all cultural associations aside, I think I'm thinking like rough, expressive. I'm thinking first draft. I'm thinking sloppy, like the opposite of how it's usually used, right? Okay, I took a brief pause there to look up the actual history of this, and I think my hunch was right, but despite my desire that it actually has something to do with art, it doesn't. Well, not the kind of art I was thinking of. It comes from the early 1900s. There was an engineering graduate who wrote a manual, it looks like, called The Gas Turbine: Progress in the Design and Construction of Turbines Operated by Gases of Combustion. And then there's a passage and there's a sentence that says, "In the present state of the art, this is all that can be done." Apparently that's the first time that phrase is used. And the word art there refers to like methods of manufacture and craftsmanship, apparently, rather than like fine arts or performing or playing music. Okay, so I guess the phrase just kept being more and more widely used in that manner, and probably I'm the only one who's been caught up by it. Although it is interesting to note that in its original usage, they were actually talking about limitations of the state of the art, and they weren't talking about how it was the best or the highest quality. Now I'm reading here in Wikipedia, even by 1985, there was an article that described the phrase as overused, and they said that it has no punch left and actually sounds like a lie. And in 1994, there was an essay that listed it among the same tired old cliches that should be avoided in advertising. I think people have taken that to heart, though, because I don't really hear it used much anymore, just occasionally. Anyways, thanks for listening, watching, hanging out for a moment. Hope you're all doing well, staying warm and dry, and see you on the next page. All right? Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh yeah, like the video or something. Leave a comment. Say hi, all right? Good to hear from all of you. I like it when you comment. See ya.